today you're talking to us about AS Bryden. They have a dual currency listing coming up. What does that mean? Who is AS Bryden? Just give us the update.
Yes, okay. Well, the focus is really on dual listed or dual currency listed securities, but we'll focus specifically on AS Bryden because it is the most recently listed security of such nature, right? AS Bryden is a company that is domiciled in Trinidad. It has regional reach. It just acquired a new entity. It, along with Seprod, its parent company, acquired some rum trading and distilling company in Barbados. Its fundamentals, that is its financials, are fairly strong. The market appreciates it. We think that it can grow across the industry and in Jamaica in particular. And since its listing last November, the price of roughly, I think it's about $22, it has traded as high just recently, up to last week at $41, and has settled at about $39.99, probably about $40 just since week today. Okay? So this stock has performed well. It is a fairly conglomerate. It has about 13 companies, either wholly owned or subsidiaries under its holding. Of course, this acquisition in Barbados should jump that up. It is about 54% owned by Seprod. I think Seprod and related entities, including Mawson, owns probably about 67 to 70% of that company. So it is part of a very strong, powerful regional and international conglomerate, properly managed, well managed. And also, as a company related to Seprod, it is one of several related companies that are listed on the exchange. So we kind of appreciate also that people are sharing, these investors, the principal shareholders are sharing the opportunities that this company and all the other related companies bring to them. They are sharing it to the marketplace by listing it. AS Bryden should be listed in the Trinidadian market. That indicated that they have intention of doing so. For a strong company, it's still a viable company. It's still fundamentally sound and can generate some value. So that's a description of AS Bryden.
Are they listed in Barbados?
No, they are not. Only in Jamaica so far.
Okay.
As I know.
Explain what a dual currency listing is.
Okay, good. Now, opportunities in the marketplace. We spoke about just a general market being listed, the opportunity to buy stocks at a lower price, sell at a higher price. That's the aim of investing. Of course, if JC introduced some other, technical opportunity, then we might see a reverse of that. There's an opportunity in both up and the down, but for now, we have cross-listed securities that have provided some opportunity. We have some securities, some companies that have issued securities, various securities in different multi-currencies. For example, JMMB, its ordinary shares is listed on the market, but JMMB also has about 6 other different securities which are listed in the preference market, and they are J dollar issued and US dollar issued. What are these? These securities are properly registered with the regulatory authorities. They are clearly defined. They are indicated by a prospectus which outlines things about the company, as well as the securities itself, how they'll trade, what covenants are attached to these securities. They are legally registered securities, okay? And they can be listed and traded as such. In the case of a dual currency listed security, though, it is one security, not two. It is one security, but this security can be traded in several currencies. It means that this very same stock unit can be not converted, but can be traded in the Jamaican market as well as in the US dollar market. And there are some opportunities to that.
Okay. All right. So how good does this opportunity look for us right now? Is this what is your recommendation? Bearing in mind that this is not investment advice, folks. Clive is an advisor, but he's not your advisor. But generally speaking, Clive, are you bullish on Bryden's?
Well, long term, I'm bullish on very much the market. Long term, I think just based on this stock, the growth trajectory of this stock, especially if you look at the analysis that was done when it was coming public, this stock seemed to have good growth prospect. Its acquisitions, etc. It is part of a conglomerate. It is part of a related entities, and I think there's some synergy and support that can come from that. And there's a reason why they're listed on the Jamaican market also. There's quick and easier access to capital, seeing that this market is very fluid and very liquid and has a large potential pool of investors. So there's some benefit that can come from this. As of now, the metric on this particular stock seems good. The return on equity looks good. The PE looks good when compared to the market. Right? And all of the fundamentals seem good. So in the longer term, this alongside many other securities of its, that is in its sector, could be considered long-term buy. And prices are a little bit depressed in the general market now. But this stock, even at the price of about $40, is a fairly good price, a really good stock.
What's been their trading history? It's not one that I follow very closely.
Well, they were just listed, became a public traded entity just last November, beginning with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. They are soon, perhaps soon, but to be listed on the Trinidadian Stock Exchange. Right? So that should provide some cross-border, benefit. It will provide access, more liquidity. It is fairly liquid now. It can be bought and sold fairly easily. There's not a long wait to have it, depending, of course, on the price you're willing to trade it at. That's one. So it's fairly liquid here. But that cross-listing will expand this liquidity. The cross-listing will also expand the opportunity for taking advantage of any difference in prices in the two markets. For example, at some point in time, for various reasons, it can be because of the structure of the marketplace. It can be because of some fundamental with the different economies, the fiscal as well as the monetary of the different economies. You may have discrepancy in prices. So you can buy in one market and quickly send it to the next market to sell. Of course, as I suppose I've said before, that is not a difficult process anymore, especially if you have your account at the same brokerage house or related brokerage houses. For example, the EMMA, Equity Money Market System that we have here in Jamaica, is the same replicated in Trinidad. So you can easily and quickly move securities from one to the next in the two jurisdictions quite easily, same day. In terms of the dual listed security, now this is one security that is dual listed in two currencies, in this case Jamaican dollar and the US. Let me give you a little bit of information here. As at March 14, when the JC announced that it will be listed the following day in the US dollar market, the trading price for AS Bryden on the 14th, it closed at $34.15 Jamaican. It closed on the US dollar market. The date was listed at 22 US cents. If you should multiply that by the BOJ published exchange rate, US to J dollar exchange rate, $155.2182. That is $155.20, call it 22 cents. If you should multiply that 22 by that official exchange rate, you get a price of, I'm sorry, let me state again, sorry. It was trading at $40.67 on the close of business, close of trading on the 14th. It closed on 22 US cents on that same day. If you should multiply 22 US cents, you'd get $34. It means that you could hypothetically on that day buy that stock in the US dollar market and trade it in the Jamaican dollar market for a premium. Let's say there's no liquidity because the stock was just listed and persons have not yet begun trading much, so you may not be able to get volume. But subsequent to that, up to today, the 19th, which is 4 days after, last Thursday to today, Tuesday, the stock closed in the J dollar market at $39.99. Let's call it $40. It closed in the US dollar market at 0.2201 cents, US cents. Round that up, you round that down to 22 US cents. Again, multiply that by today's exchange rate, 154.77. That's about $34.07. So you could have bought it at any point during the last 4 days in the US dollar market and sold it in the Jamaican dollar market at a premium. Let me quote some numbers here to convert it. On the 14th, the stock traded at $40.67 on the J dollar market. It closed the 14th at 22 US cents. On the 15th, last Friday, it closed at $40.18 on the J dollar market. It traded the equivalent at 22 US cents, 0.2217, which is the equivalent of $34.34. Yesterday, it closed at That's a roughly $5 difference. Today, it closed at $39.99 and it traded the equivalent of $34.07, which is, again, 0.2201 US cents. So there's some opportunity there. How do we facilitate that? How could that be facilitated here at JMMB? I'm not sure what other brokers system and process they have, but we have a beautifully laid out equity management system that has worked for several years. And this has caused us to be, for many years, the top traded volume and number of transactions. You would have a $J MR account, equity money market account here. You could open a US dollar equity money market account. And then you can give instruction to your advisor to simply, when you buy the stock in the US dollar market, you can give instruction to transfer to your $J MR account and put it on the market for sale. And you'd have had some arbitrage opportunity there. So it does present really good dual listed security.
I was just wondering that, like you preempted my question, because I'm like, I thought that if you buy in US dollars, you have to trade in US dollars. I didn't know you could go back and forth like that.
If the security is registered legally as a US dollar security, then it must trade in the US dollar market only. Okay, but in this case, this, you know, I need to look at the regulator, the process that that guides this, but this is a dual listed, and there are several others. AS Bryden is the latest dual currency traded security. There's also Proven. There's also Sterling Investment. There's also Trans-Jamaican. How you can identify them? There's something called the ISIN number, which is an international security identification number. And these securities have the same ISIN number. So it's one security that is tradable in two currencies. If there were two separate securities, they would have two separate ISIN number. Okay? So that is one way of identifying them.
Where do you find the ISIN number?
That, I think, on the JC website, that should be stated beside the security. Yes, you should be able to get that. That's public information.
So what's like the...
But nonetheless, your broker should be able to advise you as to which securities. Yes.
That's the easiest way. Just ask your broker.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Interesting stuff. I hope you guys are taking notes.
Yeah. So again, the market is quite interesting. You see, I mean, the market itself provides the opportunity to grow wealth. But again, the same market, based on the structure, based on the facilities, can give varying opportunities. So the one security, not just to buy that one security, but by having it listed in several markets, and by meaning either a separate legal jurisdiction in another country, or in this case, in another market on the same stock exchange, that again generates a different type of opportunity for you.
Clinton has a great question. Clinton wants to know, is there an additional cost to trade the arbitrage?
No, no. The regular brokerage fee applies. So whatever brokerage fee your broker charges, that is what would apply. Okay. Of course, if you buy in one market, you pay fees there on the buy side. You sell, you pay fees on the sell side. But it is, and fees are quite low now. The landscape is far more competitive. Back then, it was 2%, maybe a minimum fee, or 2 percentage points, which is the maximum allowed, mandated by the stock exchange. Now, brokerage fees are very quite low. I mean, on our platform, it's 0.5%. So easily, if you look at price movements throughout the market, even on a daily basis, if prices are moving at 2, 3, 4, 5, 7% moving on a daily, I'm not telling you to engage in speculative and reckless investing, no. But there are various opportunities. And based on the structure of your portfolio, your knowledge of the market, and your objective, you can engage the market in different ways. But if you look at the average price movement, a stock on any day, any stock moving 4, 5, 6, 7%, and their brokerage fee on one side of a transaction is 1 point, in the case of JMMB at a brokerage fee of 0.5%, including all other fees, would be probably about 1.1, less than 1.1%. On one side, that is, you buy, you pay 1.1%, but a stock price is bouncing 4 or 5%. It means on the sell side, you're paying 1.1%. There is some opportunity for you to trade the movement in prices. You see the fluctuation in prices weekly, monthly, maybe on a daily basis. That is high risk. You know, we don't encourage that type of investing, right? But there's opportunity there also.
Well, we appreciate that insight a lot, Clive. Before you go, are you aware of any other opportunities in the market right now?
Well, you know, the market is coming through. out of a doldrum. We have seen some appreciation. I was looking at the indices from August, September, October, November, December, January, February, and each month the indices has grown over the next month. So I think that there's some level of, one, the market gets comfortable, interest rate is stable, so the market is slowly coming back in, believing that we may not see increase in interest rate. We know it's still a little bit tenuous, but all other macro indicators looks good and looks fairly stable, right? So I think the opportunity is the low prices that there are right now. So it's an opportunity to either lock in on the cash flow by buying stocks that are paying fairly good dividend, and quite a number of companies have increased their dividend payout over the last several 2-3 years, even close to COVID. Quite a few companies did that. As well as you can average down on that portfolio that is under the water. You can reduce your average cost. Now it's a most opportune time to begin that process. As to when the market will recover substantially or to back it where it was before is speculative. Maybe, I mean, globally and locally, many pundits say that interest rate may begin to decline the latter part of 2024 to the early 2025. But I think 3 years ago, we thought it was 2024, maybe 2023. But it looks a little bit more stable now. So again, now is the opportune time to start buying. Incrementally buy, incrementally reduce the average cost. That's the best opportunity now.
Okay. Thanks again, Clive. We always appreciate your presence.